Hello and welcome again to our Lent readings for 2023 as we consider people who encountered Jesus. Today it's day 24 and we're going to look today at a lady who was not Jewish but a Canaanite. The majority of people we've considered so far have been from the nation of Israel, but there has been a sprinkling of those who do not have a Jewish heritage. Among them has been the Magi and a Roman centurion. Today we consider another, a Canaanite woman, and we meet her in Matthew chapter 15, and we'll start reading at verse 22. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly." Jesus did not answer a word. So the disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of Israel." The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." "Yes, it is, Lord," she said. "Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Then Jesus said to her, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. A woman comes to Jesus complaining that her daughter is possessed and suffering terribly. Though a Gentile, she addresses Jesus with the very Jewish title Son of David. The question is, how much can a Gentile expect to benefit from the Jewish Messiah? The most striking, even disturbing part of this passage is Jesus' response. Initially, he seems to ignore her, and then when he does address her, his words seem incredibly harsh, especially when you consider that earlier he'd praised the faith of a Gentile centurion, which we looked at in day 10. Maybe just reading the cold text of the passage somehow hides maybe a sense of irony or playfulness in Jesus' tone. At any rate, he was confronting her with the sort of language a Gentile might expect to hear from any Jew at that time. Matthew describes her as a Canaanite, the traditional enemy of Israel in the Old Testament. The reaction of the disciples would probably have been familiar to her, and now Jesus seems to be treating her the same. Jesus' response seems to leave her with no room for hope. But the woman persists with her simple appeal for help. If this was a test, and I find it hard to read it any other way, this woman rose to the challenge admirably. Her reply in verse 27 recognized the priority of his mission to Israel, but nonetheless claimed the hope in an extension of that mission to the Gentiles. She had recognized that within God's dealings there was always a plan in due time to extend the blessing beyond the bounds of Israel to all people, something that most Jews failed to recognize despite various passages in the prophets alluding to this. Isaiah 49 verse 6, "I will make you a light for the Gentiles, that my salvation may reach the ends of the earth." Paul quotes that in Acts 13 to the Jewish leaders. Or consider Zechariah 2:11. "Many nations will be joined with the Lord in that day and will become my people. I will live among you, and you will know that I, the Lord Almighty, has sent me to you." For such faith, Jesus grants her request, and her daughter is healed. Living the other side of Easter as we do, we can now see that Jesus, the Son of David, the Messiah, had not come to set Israel free from the Romans, but the world free from sin and death, including us Gentiles, which will be the vast majority of those listening to this. The good news of the gospel is open to all. We may be unworthy of it, but we are not worthless. We are valued at the price of the precious blood of Jesus. Whatever your background, nationality, culture, position in society, age, sex or history, the gospel is fully available to you today. Till next time, have a blessed day.